Boruto the manga chapter 1. Now of course this is super late, but the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm going through all things Boruto right now. I'm jumping all through time. I read the manga chapter for this, or the first chapter. I went backwards and I just read the Mitsuki one that they did, the one shot for that. I have to go back even further to do like the Naruto Gaiden thing, because I didn't know that all these manga were like thrown in as these one-shots. The only one that I read was like the very first Boruto manga, which was like right after Naruto ended. They had that one where they like first did a manga for all the kids. And I was like, I read that a long time ago, because that came out like right after the main series ended pretty much. It was like a couple of weeks, and they did like that special it was like a couple chapters too. And I didn't know any of this other stuff existed until the Boruto anime came out. I was like, alright, time to start catching up again. So that's why all this stuff is random. It's all out of order. Like, I'm doing this before I'm doing the Mitsuki one. I still have to read the Naruto Gaiden one. I haven't even read that. I just realized that that was new, because I just assumed that that was the Boruto thing, because I didn't remember what it was called. It's like, nope, definitely didn't see this character before, so I got to read that too. But getting into this, it's really simple. This would be a simple review. It's Boruto the movie, so I was just like, alright, so like the first 5 or 6 chapters or something like that is actually just repeating all of Boruto the movie. I'm not 100% sure why they did that. I guess it's just because, well, for one, it makes it simple. It's like, let's just redo the movie, so that, you know, that just saves on a time thing. It's like, alright, let's figure out where we're going with the story. Introduce like that little extra element of the future and stuff like that, and Naruto possibly being dead and things like that. And I know that reveal has recently come out. I still don't know what the reveal is. So, you know, there's that. It's still a mystery for me. But, you know, it's basically Boruto the movie, and they rework a couple of things, because the way they do it in the movie is the very first scene is actually Sasuke fighting the main villains. And in this, you don't get that until like towards the end of the first chapter, and it's done in a flashback. Like, Sasuke comes into it, and then you see him fighting the people. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, because they have a different opening for it. So they moved the flashback, or they moved the opening action sequence from the movie into a flashback segment later, and they, you know, kind of changed the dialogue, because they have Sasuke telling them a little later on compared to how it, you know, kind of played out. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. Other than that, it's exactly the same. But of course, there are the two big differences. Aside from like minute changes and, you know, Boruto's official story, like, hey, here's Boruto's thing, and then everything else being the movie. Another big thing is some of the character changes, and of course everyone has the same thing. There are two for me. One, of course, the super obvious one was Sasuke, and it's just like, what the F happened? It made no sense, because, and I literally thought this as I was reading the manga, because I'm like, considering I didn't know the other mangas existed for like Mitsuki and the Naruto Gaiden one, I was trying to go in order of everything. Like, I watched I watched Boruto, and then I thought that was it, so that's why I jumped straight to the Boruto manga. But reading this, I was like, did I get them out of order? Because I'm pretty sure the movie came out like 3 years before this manga came out, and I don't understand why the characters look different. Like, it made no sense to me. I'm like, it's already there. Like, even if you don't have the exact same style, like you know, you can't exactly mimic how someone draws, you can look and at least mimic what the character looks like, and that's not what this person did. And Sasuke's got like the weird little curls and stuff, and that's not, you know, like a lot of people focus on like even his face looks different. I personally didn't notice that too much, and it does a little bit, you can see it, but for me it's just like, all I see is like the hair instantly, because like Sasuke's whole thing, like everyone has a specific hairstyle in this show, and Sasuke's thing is always that he had, like, somewhere on his head there was like that one part where it was just like a long strip of hair that ended up pointy. Like, when it was his original costume, he had like, it was basically like bangs in the front, and then he had like the one piece going back, and then when he was in like Taka, and basically from Taka to the rest of the series, or basically all of Shippuden really, or just the, you know, second part of the series if you're doing the manga, it was just like all straight up. It was pretty much like straight up and sticking out and stuff. And so when he's older, it's going down, but it's still very sharp. And I'm like, that's all you had to do is just copy what it looks like. Like, it's already there. You don't have to draw it exactly the same, but that's what it looks like. And it was just like, where did the curls come in at? And I was like, that makes no sense. So that did bug me a little bit, because I was like, the anime, the movie, with the official designs for characters already came out. Why is this happening? So that was number one. Number two that really bugged me was actually Hinata. And it wasn't her design, like her face. It was actually the outfit, which I personally just thought looked weird. I was like, I don't like how this looks, because it just seemed odd. Like she had like this turtleneck outfit. Just turtlenecks in general don't really work for me. I don't know. It's an aesthetic thing. I was just like, oh, it just didn't look right to me. But it was just like, this outfit. Of course, it's a manga, so it's black and white. And it was just like the way it was designed, where it's like, if I remember right, it was basically like black straight down the middle, and then parts of her pants were black, and then everything else was white. And I was just like, it just looks weird. And maybe they did that because in the movie she has like very light colored clothing, and I think it looks way better. She basically has like a hoodie on as a jacket, and like a skirt, kind of like what she always has on. She has like a skirt and then like leggings or whatever. And I was like, I think that's a really cool outfit. It's very simple and it kind of sticks to her normal style, where she kind of has the same thing throughout the entire series, where she goes from the jacket when she was younger to like the bigger jacket where it's a hoodie, and the like the skirt, but she has leggings, or she has, like pants on or whatever. And it kind of continued throughout the entire series, and she has like a joining outfit and stuff. And in the movie I was like, okay, this is simple. She has like it was like a light purple skirt, and it was almost like a beige hoodie that she wears through like the whole movie. And even her hair does look different, and it does have like a little bit of a weird look to it, and that was another thing that was like kind of off about her. But the costume itself, I was just like, man, I know that's probably why they changed it up, because the outfit was basically, it's light, and then the skirt part is also a light color as well. But I feel like they could have changed that up, just make the skirt black or something, like just do some lines or something. But to change that whole outfit, and I was like, it just looks like an uglier outfit, and her hair looks like a little bit weirder, and it looks more like a cone. It doesn't look like normal hair. It looks like one of those weird shapes that you have, and she doesn't have that sort of hairstyle. I always thought her hair looked more normal than some of the other characters that had like, crazier, more anime like style. She just has long hair, and that was kind of like a weird long hair, but also kind of like a bowl cut sort of thing. It's like kind of what they have for Sakura, but I think Sakura looks right, where it curves and it stops. And for hers, it kind of curves, but it doesn't cut off. It curves and then it goes into the long hair. I'm like, something about that doesn't look right to me. So those are the two things that really bug me as far as like the design of the characters, where I'm just like, it would be one thing if the person was making up how these characters look, but Kishimoto already did that with the movie, and it was animated not only in standstills, but they were fighting throughout that movie as well. So we've seen these characters done in this form for, I think the movie's like an hour and a half long. We've seen it for a solid 90 minutes or so of what these characters are supposed to look like, and everyone else pretty much looks exactly the same. I didn't really notice any changes in anybody else's costumes. Like, I didn't really look at like Himawari's outfit or anything. It was just Hinata's. I noticed like a full costume change, which I thought was interesting. And then of course Sasuke with his hair just looks very different. Everyone else, I thought the designs looked fine. All their costumes, I believe, are exactly the same. It was just like Hinata's costume change and Sasuke's hair change. So those are the two things that really bugged me. As far as the chapter itself, it's fine. Like I said, it literally just follows the story. They just move certain elements around. So instead of having the fight between Sasuke and Kaguya's people in the beginning, we have the fight, the future fight of Boruto versus, I want to say the guy's name is Mawaki or something like that. I forgot, because the first chapter and I'm not really getting into the series yet. So it's fine. I don't know what I'm going to do for these next couple of chapters. I might just do like an amalgamation review for just like the next couple until it gets to the main story, and just talk about the minor differences between the manga and the movie. Because that's really the only reason I even did this, because I was like, okay, because I knew it was done by a different artist, and I was like, man, going through it at first, I was like, this isn't really that different. Like, the characters look different anyway, so it's not like Shippuden Naruto versus this artist's version of Shippuden Naruto. It was just like, it's an older Naruto, and he looks different, and the animation I thought looked fine, or, the artwork. But then it was like, okay, the Sasuke thing just looked weird. Like, that's just not how he looks. The Hinata thing, I think, was more the costume than anything else. The hair was a little weird, but it was really like, I just thought it was a weird choice to change the costume into something like that. I thought at least change it to something that fits her character. Like, Sakura has like a different type of outfit where it's like a full dress instead of like the vest, and then like the medical skirt, and then the leggings again. I'm like, alright, that works for Sakura. And then I felt like this was just like, let's make, Hinata's like the mom now, is like, let's just make her as homely as possible and give her just a big puffy like turtleneck sweater outfit. And I was like, that just doesn't look right to me. So those are like my two issues there. But I enjoyed the first chapter. Like I said, having just seen the movie basically when I started. Like, I read the manga like a while ago. I'm just finally doing this review because it's all late anyway, so I'm not like that, held up on it as far as getting it out on time, because it's already super late now. But I thought it was fine. Like I said, I'm gonna figure something out. I probably will read through the manga up to when the main story finally begins and just do like a big review of all those chapters that are basically just Boruto the movie, just to be like, okay, this looks like this from the anime, or from the movie, things like that, and compare them. Like I said, the Naruto Gaiden thing I'm going to end up doing. The Mitsuki one I'm actually going to do right after I do this review because I just read that. That was pretty good, just to do a little, ahead review. But we'll love to know what you guys thought about this first chapter. Odds are if you read the chapter, you've already seen the movie. But if not, would love to know your perspective on that. Highly recommend checking out the movie if you somehow haven't already. Especially if you're watching the anime and you're not reading the manga. Maybe don't watch the movie. I don't know. Because I don't know where they're headed with the anime. The anime takes place way before the movie and the manga. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But that's the only thing I'm current on is actually the anime. So I do reviews for that if you want to check those out. I did the first 2 episodes. But we'll see what happens with that and where that's headed. But for now, would love to know what you guys thought about this first chapter as far as it relates to the artwork, what you thought about it in general, basically just being a retelling of the 2-year-old movie plus that little sneak peek in the opening, which is really awesome. And then after that is like, here's Boruto the movie. So it really sucks for people that were actually reading it on time, where it's like, well, this is just the movie from years ago. So for me, I get to fly through it, but I know that had to really suck for people that were reading it as it was debuting. It's like, this is just the movie, and I think it's just now getting to its main story, and it's only like chapter 11 or 12 or something like that. So we'd love to know what you guys thought about this first chapter, so please put your comments down in the comment section below, and of course, thanks for watching.